take on Hulk. Idiots.
Yo, what is up guys? It is your one and only Lurk here, back with another banger of a video where today I'm showing you why Hulk is one of the worst frontline win conditions in the entire game. Just kidding. Actually, this is the complete Hulk Master Guide with all the tech, combos, rotations, and matchup answers, everything you need to know to dominate and hopefully carry your lobbies. Let's get into it. This is my entry into the character guide competition for Gosu Academy. Check out their server, it definitely will help you get better in Marvel Rivals. I'll leave it down in the description below. First part of this video is going to be his identity. Hulk is a disruption tank with some good initiation and single target control. You don't win by out-damaging tanks, you win by forcing space from the tanks, winning tempo, and turning every 6v6 into a 6v5 using your stuns, air drag as well, if the situation is best suited for it. If you play Hulk like a dive tank, you will lose value. If you play Hulk like a space-eating brawling brute, you give your team a push to carry. But let's get into the ability breakdown. You start off as Bruce. You have a gamma ray gun that does 16 damage per hit. Usually the way you get into this mode is if you start the game spawned in or you died as Hulk. Either way, this is your most vulnerable state and you will always want to be in Hulk form, as you have 200 HP with a gun that barely does any damage to the enemy. So in terms of dying as Hulk but still staying alive as Banner, you would always want to charge your ult to get it back to Hulk form as fast as possible. One tip other than doing damage to someone to gain your ult charge is using your other ability, which is Gamma Grenade, on yourself. Does 40 damage to someone, but again, you rarely want to do damage to someone with it because you have a chance of missing and losing out on your ult charge to get back to Hulk form, costing the seconds your team needs in a fight, basically down a person. When you get your ability back and when you charge your ult fully, you get into Hulk form. Now, Hulk has a left click heavy blow. This is your main primary attack tool that will help you do damage up close to any enemy. Nothing too special about the primary. It has 4-meter range and it does 40 damage per hit. So you'll be surprised how you don't have to be in someone's face to do damage, as you can see here. It doesn't look like it's significantly that much more, but in terms of this, from this range to here, it's at least something. One tip with his left click, it doesn't hinder your movement when you jump or use any kind of ability. You'll generally see Hulks just spam it because who knows, you might get like a free flying kill out of nowhere and you didn't even know you got a kill. The amount of times that happen is like crazy to know. That's why most people spam it, because there's a chance you do damage when you're not even doing damage to begin with. And his right click, basically his gamma burst. This is a short and slow windup but a fast projectile attack that does 70 damage and goes on an 8-second cooldown. You would want to use this after landing an M1, landing your heavy blow, a couple of heavy blows on the enemy, and then clap to get guaranteed chip damage. And I mean, who doesn't like to do more damage on this character that barely does any damage? But there's another playstyle you could use your clap with, and I'll get to that in the next ability coming up. Another thing is to note is that you don't want to spam it too mindlessly as Hulk. You want to have an idea of who you're hitting with, because there's nothing you can do and you have to wait like 8 more seconds. Only poke damage on Hulk. You have to wait an 8-second cooldown. So you shouldn't just mindlessly doing this, because for one, it pierces enemies too, so you get you can basically hit a full team with it for maximum value, but it's still fine to get it on just like 1 or 2 targets. Coming up to the other ability, which is, this is the ability that separates average Hulks from high level Hulks. This is his shift ability, which is his bubble. How good you are on Hulk depends on how you use this ability, not including his ultimate. This is on a 10-second cooldown, which you can reduce with a patch that they buffed Hulk. Essentially, when you use bubble, I can show you here, it goes on a 10-second cooldown, as you can see in the right hand, and if I hit both of these enemies, it will do 2 seconds of that cooldown. Well, I can show it again. So I clap here, it goes, you see how it instantly goes to 2? Because I hit 2 of the enemies, and it basically decreases each enemy you hit decreases it by 1 second. It's on a 10-second cooldown, but if you essentially hit the full team with your clap, basically it reduces all the way down to 5 seconds. But you don't need to immediately use bubble after that, because in perspective, your bubble stays up if they don't damage it, and you basically have 8 seconds of without bubble. So if you do 2, so 8 minus 2 seconds is basically 6 seconds where your bubble can get back faster. So that's what I said earlier about that kind of playstyle is when you want to clap, you would essentially bubble and then clap, so you can reduce the cooldown on it, so you can get it back more faster. You can also use the shield before jumping in and taking burst damage. So if, say for example, you are situationally diving on the back line and you see an opportunity to get on them, they have like a Sue or a Luna. To prevent them from CCing you or pushing you away, you could just bubble instantly and jump to them. And that's them a little amount of time where they can't CC you. You can either jump at the start of your jump before you jump, or you could just jump then bubble. It is a little bit of a wind up to it, so please keep in mind that you might get frozen or pushed as you're setting off that animation. You can also convert the damage you get from your shield, basically from anybody taking damage from your shield and yourself. As you can see, I'm at 0%, and if I bubble my allies and take damage, it charges my ult charge each time they hit it. So that builds up to your ultimate, which you can also shield. As I shown, you can also shield enemy allies up to 5 meters. So basically right like this close. But it also applies to when you're laterally too, like 5 meters laterally. So you can easily just jump on top of your allies and bubble them. If you don't have time to get on the ground to bubble them, you can just fly past them and then bubble them. So there's that. And it's also, this is your main bubble, is basically going to be your main charge for your ultimate. A little neat tech with his bubble and with his clap as well, I can show that as well, is that you can animation cancel with it by having your jump. You see the arrow that has the jump over it, little thing. Every Hulk player, do me a favor, please turn on this. You always want to have this enabled, because I don't know why, but for me, I don't like toggle. I think hold, especially if you're a PC player, hold is definitely the way to go to jump as Hulk. So what you want to do is press bubble, and then in the animation that he's putting his hands up, you instantly let go of jump. So like this, simply like that. I can show it again so it looks like more faster. Like that. His hands doesn't even go down in the animation. That's how you know if you did it right or not. And then his clap too. That's a little bit of a skill shot. It definitely makes the hitting the clap more harder if you do like that, but it definitely saves time to where you can, instead of doing this clap, you could just, on the way to that person, you can just clap and then start hitting them. It definitely saves a lot of time when you do like that. So there's a tip, and that's a tip for y'all right there. A little subtle thing, but if you prematurely bubble and then ultimate, you have a little bit of immunity from CC if they don't shoot it. But I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people. I haven't really done this tip, but it's definitely worth it. If you're on the back line and you're on a Luna that's waiting for you to ultimate and they have a CC for you, you could just pop bubble and then start going ham. And if they waste CC on you, you just basically block a few seconds of your ult. And so yeah, shielding beforehand saves you time. Clapping beforehand saves you time as well, for more value you can gain out of punching them. His radioactive lockdown. So what this is one of the strongest, honestly, this is one of the strongest CCs in the game, because they can't interact with the opponent when you CC them. Like, nobody can interact with them until you hit them or until the CC goes away. So It's one of the strongest CC abilities in the game when used correctly. So if you're hitting someone that is low and you know their healers will hit them, so pretend as this guy is low, you stun them, they're trying to heal him, you get that hit off, and they easily die. So even though it's like a little delay, it still puts pressure on the healers to look at this guy, then to look at the front line of my teammates pressuring their front line as well. So if you're hitting someone that is low and you know their healers are gonna heal them, you can exile them to not only have the opportunity to kill them, but also putting the healers to look at that person when they can be looking at their front line, and that might die to your teammates. So that's also a good thing to note when you're putting pressure on someone who's about to die. You're also putting pressure on the front line as well. You can either use this outright, or you can use it after you land the jump, since people can't tell it's coming. So basically like this, at the end of your jump, you use your exile, because as you landing on the ground, Hulk's head looks down. They won't see it coming if you do something like that, because as Hulk's head coming down, they won't notice that you're popping your exile. You can use this on tanks if you want to deny value from them, but you only want to do this if the situation is right, since it goes on a 15-second cooldown. As you can see here, it goes on a 15-second cooldown. So it's better used for defensive cooldowns, like bubble in front of them. So you can use something instead, just bubbling in front of you to deny them from shooting your team and just only shooting your bubble, instead of using your lockdown, because usually lockdown is used for calling out targets for your team. So for example, if this is a person, an enemy right here, and then you lock them down, and you can set up your DPS saying 3, 2, 1, and then all your DPS can focus them and they can easily die from it. So if you get your team that kind of heads up call, they can just line up their shots easily on the person that you exile, and they can just easily die and when you hit them. So that's also a good team play tech for y'all, for those kind of kills that decides the fight. Also, if you're coming up on a big ultimate fight, if you know your team has ultimates, their team is definitely gonna have ultimates. A lockdown almost counters every single ultimate in the game. It's just that some of the ultimates, like for example Groot, Groot, Emma, maybe even Thor, you have a opening window where you can stun. The most easiest I see is you can stun is Doctor Strange ult. He's gonna ult your front line, either fly up and ult, or just straight walk into the front line and just ult. That's your perfect opportunity to use the CC, his lockdown. So if you know you're coming up on an ultimate fight and their tanks have ult, you can easily stun. It's hard to do Groot because it's like a little timing window where he lets go of his hands to ult, like in that animation where he's charging up. That's the only time. Other than that, you can just, if you can't get it, just when you're Groot ulted, just stun the Groot so they can't put walls behind you. And for Emma, you can do the same thing, like in the charging phase of her ultimate, but it's very hard. So honestly, I would recommend just using bubble for your teammates to try to get out and just try to line of sight it, because it's really hard to stun Emma ult.
Look who's here.
The easier ones, Venom, you can even get him on the way down. On the way down that he drops down to the ground, you can stun him as well. So, and also it's kind of predictable when they go into your team. They do this little thing, 2 shots, and then they're gonna ult. You can just stop them from doing that by just exiling them. It's just a matter of playing characters to know what their combos looks like. And then yeah, that's a little bit of some of them. For a little bit about the space, his space, which is his jump, there you can see the little right hand side of Hulk. There's a little bar that shows you how much you have charged up in your jump. This is your only movement ability on Hulk, sadly enough. So you would always want this to be charged. So basically when you're jumping around doing something, make sure you see that little arrow, so you know that you're gonna get out in time. That's how I know when I have my jump usually. But the thing about with Hulk's only movement ability, it can be canceled by so many things like freeze, push, a lot of things in this game. It's like crazy. Little things like Moon Knight Onk can mess up your jump. So I will say that you need to have this charged most of the time. You need to make sure this is charged up to see that little arrow. That's how you can tell. That's how you can tell on Hulk if you can get out or not, is if you see that little jump. It's best engage, best escape, and it's only best chase ability. So again, the little arrow appears letting you know that you can jump, and then you can just let go of your spacebar and it'll jump for you. His knockdown tech. So this is a part of Hulk's tech where he can knock down any flyer or people that are above a ledge. I've seen people jump over the ledge and still get knocked down by Hulk. So there's things like that. Anytime they're above, like, I want to say like 10 meters or 20 meters above the ground, you can knock them down as Hulk can. So like this, like that. They're stunned for a period of time on the ground until they... So that's also good to note. You can also incorporate your bubble and clap when you slam someone like this. If you want to block heals, say if they're over here, you can block heals on them so they don't get that healing output.
Was that too hard?
And honestly, guaranteed most of the time you get those kills because you use your bubble and they can't heal this guy. You can also do clap on the way down as well. So if you want more chip damage off of Hulk, and then you get the kill easily most of the time like that. So always have an idea of where you're trying to land when jumping, because it's going to take a little bit to get out of there again. So if you're punching the front line, have an idea where you're going to go when you're jumping as Hulk. So like punching, get out. To my healers, heal me up. Then I go back in, punching the tanks. Oh, I see an off-angle DPS. I hit them a couple of times, and then they back up. A little tech everybody knows. I mean, Zotac is the one who made this popular in the first place. This is Hulk's B-hop tech. Basically, it's hard to explain, but what you want to do is, as you're looking into the wall, you want to use your scroll. Also, I have my scroll wheel binded to Hulk. So here's jump. Yeah, I have my scroll wheel down to bind it to Hulk. So it's more easier to B-hop like this. You can also B-hop on the ground. This is also fine. It gets you more distance and try to carry a little bit of momentum to get out. But if you want to doing the other B-hop, you have to look at a wall, and then at the same time as you're scrolling down, you would want to look away, and then as you're going up, you should see Hulk have his hands up still. That's how you know you did it right. So like this. And it gets you pretty much a long distance. I can even show this in the ears to show y'all. So almost 60 meters when using the tech. So basically, again, looking away and scroll wheeling at the same time, you carry your momentum and B-hopping. And yeah, because how it works is that you're using scroll wheel to cling onto walls. This is also another tech. You can cling onto walls, and if you don't do anything, you can just let go and just let go of your spacebar. It will let go of the wall. If you want to jump to somewhere, you have to look away and then jump to that place as your arrow is pointing. So in that sense, it basically let go of the wall instantly. So that's how you do the B-hop tech, because as you're jumping and you immediately let go of the wall, it carries your momentum and still jumping. And that's how you do the B-hop tech. I don't usually most of the time in midway fights, but if you see the opportunity to use it, yeah, you could use it to get more momentum out of the fight more. Yeah. So now going on to his ultimate. This ultimate is a 12-second ultimate, and basically gives you 2 moves, and you have a more bigger hitbox. This will turn Hulk into a DPS and a win condition, or it will turn you into a meatbag for CC that will definitely slowly melt you away back into the spawn room. So treat this ultimate like a kid trying to take anything he can from the store for 12 seconds for free, because you have 12 seconds in that ultimate to get the most value out of, whether that be little value as getting displacement on enemies for your teammates to kill that person, or just straight up killing them yourself, as this mode gives you a lot of kill potential. But again, this is like a meat bag for CC, so don't be surprised when you're getting absorbed. That's also another thing to sometimes using your ult with your teammates like next to you is also good, because it's like removes that little pressure that people look at you for your ultimate. But yeah, you can animation cancel with your primary in combination with your clap to add more raw damage. You can also pull off a juggle on someone, but it takes time to get that timing down. So I can show it here. So as you can see here, and pop ult like that, you can instantly go into a juggle. If you clap, you can animation clap with your left click. So again you do, as you slam them, you can get the juggle off. So that's also a good combo to do if you're trying to get off juggles, but usually you're not going to hit this most of the time, but it is a good combo to know. So like something like that. Momentum tech, basically when you're about to ult, a person that I see this often do is Monster. So as you're jumping as Hulk like this, at the peak of this little arc, you can pop your ult to go flying in the air like this, and it basically going farther with your ultimate, it can make you have easier access into the backline. As I said, this is mostly recommended if you know you're going to kill the backline if you see them. In your ultimate, all of your moves are the same, except with a bit more damage and less cooldowns as your base form, and not having the shield option. So you go at the peak of your jump like this. As you can see, I went flying almost 40 meters just with that. So yeah, you can go diving into their backline more easier when you pop your ult. But I don't really do this as to like not knowing how far you go with it, because you can easily separate yourself with your team, and if your team is not following up with you, you can just get easily killed in your ultimate. So be mindful of that. So also the B-hop tech is more easier in monster form. Just as you see Hulk's arms go down, you just scroll wheel. So again, oh okay, let me just wait for it again. So yeah, as you saw, B-hopping at the end of the arc, as his hands go down, you want to scroll wheel, and you have infinite range. You can literally go so far as Hulk. So also we can go into the combos now. Your bread and butter combo with Hulk is, let me pull up this can work if there is a lot of heals going into that person, as when you clap them in ultimate, you can easily get the burst damage on someone, and when you exile them, you instantly cut off their healing from them. So something like, and when you cut off their healing, you could just easily have enough time to use your clap again. So something like this, and then clap again. That'll be one shot, but most of the time this works on 250 HP targets. That's why, as you saw before, I told you about the animation cancel. You clap like that. So that's another good thing to note, as you could just use the animation cancel with his primary and clap, and then instantly exile them so they don't get healing, and you could just easily and kill them by doing one clap. So you can also juggle as Hulk in monster form like this. As you see, I can show it again. So what you want to do is M1. So basically M1, and as you're the second M1, you jump. So M1, M1, jump. Like as your the second hit that you do, you instantly jump. So again, I'll show it. You do like this, 1, 2, and like that. You can easily juggle like that. Usually you don't want to, you're rarely going to get this off on squishies most of the time. You would always go, it would be more easier on tanks to do it if you displace them by, for example, if this is the enemy team and this is my team over here, you could just juggle the tanks into your team, cutting off heals with your big body and basically cutting off their heals, which your teammates can finish off that tank. But you could do it on squishies too, which is fine. But don't expect, just expect the whole team looking at you as you're doing that and just trying to kill you. But it's still fine to do if you know what you're doing. So if you take out one of the tanks, basically having no front line, that will slowly win you that exchange when you take out their tanks, when you juggle them to your team. You can also, I don't see this that much, but you can also just do this. Exile and just having a clap. I can show this without cooldowns as well. You could just also do like something like this. Obviously they're not gonna die instantly from that, but the healing that they have, the healing that they're gonna get is not enough to get them above half HP, which is how much your clap does. It basically does like half the enemy's HP. Honestly, I don't know why they don't buff that. They should actually buff that, his clap damage in there, so it actually one-shots. Into his ultimate, you also have another ultimate, which is not, it's just a grab. Basically, what this does is now changes into a beatdown where any enemy you grab, they can't do anything for 5 seconds, and they take a total of 200 damage in between all 5 hits in that beatdown. When you're going for that kind of combo, or your grab, if they have AoE heals, they can heal through it. This would not kill anybody, but can still incorporate into combos where they are not doing anything for a long time and basically takes them out of this fight. So this would be like the unlock combo, which is what I usually do, or any move for that matter in his ultimate. So usually what you want to start with, the base form stun, ult, then stun again. And then you can instantly, this is actually the actual combo. It's basically stunning, this, well, I didn't messed it up that time. Take 2, stun, this, stun, into the stun lock combo, which instantly, that can kill any 275 HP character. But if they have AoE heals, like rocket heals or Sue shield, they can heal through it. So, but it's definitely a long combo that they can't do anything for almost 10 to 12 seconds. So it's also a good value if you know somebody has ultimate and you can just easily stop them from doing anything. An ultimate that would wipe out your team, or is holding on to an ultimate that would decide the change in the fight. So there's a lot of combos I'm not going to be covering here because it would take too long, but I thought this one really hard if I wanted to show it or not, but I ain't no gatekeeper, so I'll reveal the combo I lapped before. Every time I've done this combo, I have not had a problem of killing support or any squishy, but there's things that can prevent this combo from working, which I won't say. At least I haven't seen other Hulks do this combo, but I might be wrong, so I apologize if you already know this. So I called it the lurking combo, and it is basically exile Hulk ult, M1 exile, M1 S. So basically, I'll show it again. Again, it goes like exile ult, M1 exile, M1 clap, and basically kills a lot of people I haven't had any problems doing this combo, but it takes a while to do and you're mostly standing still, so they can easily help that person and heal them. But as you can see, I incorporated a lot of exiles in that combo, so they would have to time their heals enough to well enough for them to get out of the combo or still stay alive. 9 out of 10 times I've done this, I've killed almost all 275 HP heroes in the game. Don't know if I should have showed it, but hey, anything for the competition. So let's go on to the gameplay for Hulk. So Hulk's gameplay and the idea of actually winning games as Hulk. So basically you want to scout the enemy team comp so you can have a better idea of how you play into that game. Like if they're running a dive, poke, or brawl comp. Try to get some early ult charge by using your exile, clap, and bubble, because it really doesn't change much as in the beginning of the fight, since nothing is happening and there's no ultimates being charged yet. The only exception to this is if they have dive to save either your exile or bubble when they hit your backline. Honestly, in my case, if you can hit your exile well enough, then you can use exile. Honestly, I want guarantee and consistency, so I use my bubble for my backline. So there's that. I'll bubble my backline if I see a dive going in, because then when they use everything and try to get out, if I don't kill him, that's perfect. It's fine. We can still push up until, because he has downtime. He can't do anything for that moment. So in that downtime, I would start putting pressure on the tanks, start punching them. After that, to help with the front line, since you can't, I repeat, you cannot dive with dive backline, because Hulk is not a diver. You will explode if you do so. The only time you would only do this is if you situationally, one, you have a diver with you, you have a dive DPS with you, or you call out the target and everybody looks at them if they're on a bad positioning, like a Luna overextending. You would call that out, then you can dive. That's the only time I would say you could do that. Other than that, you would want to control choke points where the tanks are fighting, and then using your leap to challenge off angles if the enemy DPS are there. If you use bubble against them, even if they do high damage like Hela or Phoenix up close, you will still make them back off, because they will respect it, because you will eventually have that amounting pressure to where if they don't back up, they will still respect it. Another thing too, you have to win your 1v1s as Hulk. So whether that be using your bubble and then hitting on your punches and then using your clap on that guy, it doesn't matter what you have to do. You have to win your 1v1s as Hulk. In progression of the fight, you should keep putting pressure on the front line from time to time, because think of Hulk. I'm like a record player saying this, but you would always want to keep putting pressure on the front line with Hulk, and because you want to think like your Hulk. Think of Hulk like a tsunami wave that's about to wash over the enemies. Eventually, they have that mounting pressure where they have to back up, because they're going to be in danger of that kind of tsunami that's going to pick them off. You would also play for isolation picks with your jump and clap. So if you say, for example, this guy is out of position, you jump to them, bubble them from their heels. Usually you don't want to use self bubble. Honestly, it's fine to be selfish sometimes with your bubble, because you're the one who does the playmaking. But if you want maximum value, you can use your bubble on with your allies as well. So again, don't fight in open spaces. Force them into like chokes, and try not to be out in the open where you're peeking a lot of enemies. Try to isolate one of them and pick your targets, because as I say before, the only thing you can mitigate damage is your bubble, which is not that much HP on the bubble. So even if you don't have that, you're like completely pantsless, and you will die if they have enough pressure on you. Another thing I like to see him as for most of the late match is having that kind of tempo. He's like basically a tempo monster, because when you put pressure on any, whether that be a DPS or tank, that mounting pressure will allow your DPS to get the kill on them. You usually don't want to, you're not going to find that much kills on Hulk other than your ultimate, but with Hulk as it is, you would always want to set up pressure for your teammates to kill them, for your DPS to kill the person that you're looking at. For good matchups, he's really good against dive. So like Venom, Cap, what else? I would say in terms of Angela, she is basically like a skill shot. So if you're Hulk playing against an Angela, it's just basically who is more reactable enough to get the knockdown on someone. So even though she can technically kidnap you, you have like almost you have two abilities that can mitigate that. And in terms of when she charges, it only takes like a timely jump to cancel her charge and knock you down, because then she gets knocked down into your team, which can finish her off. So that's also a good thing against Angelas, you can figure out. But new addition to Rogue, honestly, I would say Hulk is really good into her, because for one, the ability that she copies from him is not that very good. Honestly, it would have been more helpful if she stole his stun, but she just only steals the clap, which is honestly kind of bad in my opinion. But honestly, with Rogue, yeah, she has a couple of things where she can CC you, her pull, her kick up, and then her dive. But honestly, in terms of Hulk, honestly, it's playable. You can play Hulk into Rogue. It's just that it's not going to be in your favor most of the time. So I think she kind of has the advantage a little bit, but comment down below if you think I'm wrong about it. In terms of Groot, it's kind of weird because you have your jump most of the time, but he does a lot of DPS to where you have to be quick when jumping away, because the moment you're just punching him and you're not noticing that he's placing walls behind you, and the moment you back up into those walls, you can just easily die from those walls. So I would say just be mindful, and that if he's placing down walls behind you, to jump over those walls or go at an angle where your healers can still heal you. For Penny, I think out of the whole tank lineup, Penny is the worst against Hulk. I mean, Thing has an ability to not make you do any movement abilities, but that's just one ability. With Penny, all I can say for you Hulk players, bro, is just pray and hope your team can coordinate to break these nests, because it's like super impossible to find competent teammates to break these nests if they're hidden. And yeah, you can just in that certain matchup, you would just want to, most of the time you wouldn't have to worry about the nest, and when you call it out, you just want to avoid those areas where she places her nest. But if you have to kill it, I say just try to jump in and then bubble, and then use to kill the nest like that. So out of all of them, it's the worst. He's really bad into poke characters like Hela, Punisher, Bucky. I mean, with Emma, you can try to time it well with her diamond form, because she has to press diamond form and like 2 buttons to CC you, whereas you can just let go of your jump and jump away so she can waste the diamond form. So there's that with Emma. But other than that, he's really good into dive characters like Spidey. Honestly, I've been practicing against Spideys. You can legit counter them. So basically, you're good into dive characters, not good into poke characters like Bucky. And well, in terms of Bucky, because he's not poke, but he still has CC chain, where he can just hook you from across the map and just completely kill you with his team entirely. But you can go for the poke characters if they're off-angled, but other than that, if they're just sitting on their team main, you can't really do much. For healers, honestly, Luna you can dive on. It's just that anybody can dive Luna, because she doesn't have any mobility other than her freeze and Mantis. But I think the worst has to be Invis, since she has a push and pull where she can just pull you out of your jump and it takes time to charge it again. Jeff, yeah, he can counter you, but with his ultimate, with your ultimate, but you could just easily just grab someone in your ultimate, as it gives you immunity to CC. So when you do this, as they're Jeff ulting, so it wastes their Jeff ult. Honestly, Gambit is hard too, since he has like this bull crap, just dashing all over the place where you can barely hit him. He can use a anti-heal on you and their whole team can focus on you. So honestly, that's the matchups that I would say. In TLDR, he's good against dive. He's not that well into poke, and yeah, he's really good into dive if you know how to time his things well. His synergies, his team up as of right now with Black Panther, honestly, I've been saying this, it might be the worst team up in the game, because this character is like not really good right now. In terms of the team up, yeah, it gives him a bubble, a little bubble that cleanses him, but most of the time there's so much healers in this game that are OP that makes him not viable at all. So honestly, to me, it has to be the worst team up in the game. I wish they can put him in an actual team up that gives him an ability rather than him being an anchor most of the time, because I don't think he's suited for an anchor, being an anchor as Hulk. Honestly, they should do better on Hulk's team up, honestly. But other than that, that gives, if you do get the team up, that gives 100 plus health on Hulk, which gives, that means it adds up to 850 health. But yeah, you're rarely gonna get, with the amount of BPs I see, you're not gonna get that team up most of the time. And I would want to go over some things I did in this game. Basically, in my mind, in terms of this match, I basically went 37 and 5 with 49k damage blocked. I think this guy was deep. No, this guy was healer. Okay, so basically in terms of the matchup, in my mind, when I'm in the ban phase, I like to ban out Sue, because honestly, at the time of this video, this is really like, what should I say? It's a meta of where it's Sue and Gambit. And in this match, funny enough, they're running the most OP'est meta comp in the game. They're running Gambit, Loki Mantis with Groot and Strange. I think this guy swaps because he did a TP play, but you're gonna see. And then we didn't ban Daredevil. Honestly, Hulk is one of those characters that might be able to counter Daredevil, but it's just like in terms of if you can, because he can bubble his teammates when he's ulting. It's just, and you can mark him since he's a diver and he wants to get into your backline, but he doesn't usually die. That's the problem. So most of the time, it's not, if you can't deal with a Daredevil, you can still ban it. But in this game, I wanted to ban Sue. We banned Sue. Hela is also a good ban since it's Hela. It's like the most OP hit scan in the game. And this was actually big for me because they banned Emma, which is another counter for him. I can deal with Emma most of the time. It's just that it's always a good peace of mind knowing that they're not going to have Emma on their team. So yeah, let's get started. This is just a troll by me. Well played by the Strange. I got diffed entirely. So we'll just skip ahead through that. Go out the left side with my Daredevil. Now you'll see in the first hand of the game, we're just trying to gain ult charge. I see my mag instantly low, so I bubble him. Our Daredevil dies. We can't do nothing about it. I'm just usually just hitting the front line mostly, trying to see if anything happens. Getting healed up. We're down a lot, so we're just playing slow. I try to help them. Try to coordinate to tell them to back up to spawn, but they didn't. I helped out my divers since we're still coming back and I see them doing something, so you would want to do something as well. I see the Loki, so I try to break the mines, his clones, trying to help my other diver. Just marking the Daredevil. Use all his cooldowns on me. Honestly, at this moment, I don't think I should be here. In hindsight, honestly, I don't know why. I can't even tell you why I'm still here. Honestly, if what I could have done better is once my shield went down, I think in my mind I was thinking like my healers could see me since the payload was right here, but I guess they weren't looking at me at the time. But usually when you don't have your shield, honestly, I died with exile, so maybe I should have used my exile in this moment. So there's that. So when you use your bubble, if it's gone, I have exile. I could have used exile, but if you don't have exile, you would just have to get out since you have no cooldowns. But that's well played by him. Daredevil to stop my team. Got ulted here, can't really do nothing about it.
Let's try this again.
As of this moment, like our whole team is like out of place. I'm legit like now I'm just the only tank on my team. So in this moment, you have to play a different kind of play style to where you can't take off angles because now you're dedicated into that solo tank role. So they pushed oh, actually swapped, so I have a Thor now. Okay, not too bad of a front line, but we're gonna be taking a lot of damage, so that's why you see here most of the time I'm gonna be bubbling in more. I have my ult early, they use everything. I changed my pace because I know these guys are not gonna be doing anything and the danger is this guy, so I appeal for him and he dies. Try to get as much value. I grabbed the Mantis, so her ult is gonna be up. She should die here. Oh, guess not. They have another Mantis ult. So it's kind of hard into this comp that they're playing because they're literally they have the OPest comp in the game, but I still made Hulk work here. Try to break the walls because as you can see we have no type of wall break. Following up with our my Thor on the back line with him, walking with that, getting the kill on Groot. And yeah, basically you can see that I'm trying not to take that much of crazy off angle, staying within the front line because we'll eventually win. You don't have to do anything crazy to win the fight. You could just, you know, they're down one, just try to stun him. So that's a good play by me. I try to get the air stun, try to make it look cool, but you could just easily just stun him. Stun in that moment. I don't know why I bubbled. I think I in my mind I knew it was not gonna go through, so I just try to bubble myself so I won't be able to. I body block for the Mantis so she won't die, and Strange dies as well. Now we don't have anything for this. I think in this move we lose the fight, judging by how it works. So just try to play slow, but can't really get out. So it's fine. They use two ults. They use tank ults. That's something to keep in mind. I think I was close to I'm close to my ult here. Yep, I'm 70 to my ult. It's also, see, there's that B-hop tech you can always do when you're getting back from spawn just to get back into the fight quick enough. Now I'm just here, just next to my healers, trying to analyze the fight, trying to play high ground, trying to see what's happening. I'm trying to get an idea of where the front line is so I can try to play off of them. Now, just marking the Daredevil, Strange is contesting with him. I tried to look for an air stun there, but got punished. I have my ult. That's perfect. He backs up with it, but it doesn't matter. Killed everybody. That's why I say to take advantage of Hulk's ult because it can literally make you go crazy. And also you see, like, when those kind of ultimates, like any diving DPS ult and you're ulting in their front line, I honestly try to peel for that. That's a change of mind I had where I don't want to trade backlines. I would want to guarantee a kill by peeling for my backline. So if I see a DPS ulting, I would always want to like use my ultimate instead to peel for them. Peel for that guy because I know he's gonna die if he stays in my front back line. And then we just clean up the fight here with my ult. We use three ultimates, which is fine at the most part. That's a good stun. You would always want to look for these kind of stuns too. If you see them about to touch, that's a good way to stop them from touching. And it's just I see the Thor. He wants to get onto the high ground, pressuring the Groot. I try to break the walls for him so he won't get pressured. I thought I saw the Loki here. This was the real Loki. but it wasn't him, so I just went back to my front line and helped.
Your powers are mine!
Now we just play slow because we have ultimate soon, and we do.
We are undefeatable!
Try to get to their backline, try to find something, but our Loki dies.
By the eye
I bubble to protect our Gambit, and the Groot dies because of it. Now if we kill Strange here, they have no front line, and then we go on to the DPS and see if they have anything. Spotted out the Daredevil. He's one shot, got the kill on him. Now we're just trying to find some staggers. Honestly, I'm not gonna kill anything here, just to try to control space. Their Groot is already back. I bubble so to enable my team, and we go in. Try to pressure the Gambit. I don't want to use my ult here since I want to respond to their ultimate, but it was a misplay. In my mind, I wanted to counter the Groot ult by bubbling and then ulting on top of my team so I would absorb the damage, but it didn't work. Honestly, this is a lost fight, so I try to get out. As you can see, I beat off out of there. Even though I didn't get that much and I only got the Daredevil, I still got out. But this is perfect because I have 2 seconds. The Gambit is already here healing me, and he gets ult charge. A lot of ult charge for next fight. So he gets 14% from that. Now it just goes back to the hitting tanks. Sitting on high ground, trying to analyze the fight. See the Groot wall. Try to cut off their healers a little, their tanks a little bit. They use Gambit ult. So I see my DPS trying to fight the Daredevil, so I help him out. Try to look for a C9 here, but I saw the Mantis. This was a lost fight, but I have the idea of I have to stay here. So honestly, I maybe could have played this better, but in my head, I thought we had Mantis soon. Yeah, it was unlucky. Our Mantis died at 99, so maybe what I could have done better is like not try to push point. Like not pushing point when I was helping Daredevil in this moment. So if when I got the kill here, I would just instantly back up to my team and not because in my mind I thought maybe I could have gotten the C9 on them, but so it was a good try still. Honestly, I want to see how I do here, how my team would die. Kind of curious. Yeah, this is in the moment where they have no front line. Our healers have no front line, so they just die. So a better play by me is getting the kill on Daredevil and then helping out my teammates here. So it's better for you to learn. We all make mistakes. And this is just me stalling as long as possible to maybe get a TP off, but I know we're gonna lose anyways. So yeah, that was our push here. Now the second half, this is where we try to make the changes. This guy actually went back on Groot now, so it'll be now it's more helpful for me to challenge more off angles more, and knowing that my front line is tankier enough to hold the front line. So they use runes early, which is good. So I just put on pressure on the front line, try to look for off angles to see where their Daredevil is. I saw my Daredevil get a kill, so I walk in on their other healers. Honestly, from here, I could have just kept hitting the tanks. That's always good. I got the Loki here. We got the Daredevil. So that's also a good stun to have when I just kept it long enough for my teammates to try to walk up and finish this guy off. But he still got out of there. It's fine. So this is actually a good thing by my teammates to win the group because I can easily do more on my own. Bubble my tanks. Always try to bubble your tanks. You don't have to always bubble your backline. Just the exile, just to try to find some exile on the backline so they won't heal their tanks. Big ult by my group a little bit. I noticed that I'm not going to kill their front line with this, so I try to pressure their backline so they won't heal these guys. So as you can see, Strange is actually low from this. So you'll see when I'm pressuring the Strange enough, he would have died almost, but it's still something to try to force out. Is like that little play where I know the tanks weren't gonna die and I just pressure their backline so they have a harder time healing them is always good to do, but it wasn't enough pressure for them. So always, also another thing with Gambit ult, I always try to mitigate that by using my ult as tanks, because usually the best tanks for against Gambit ults are like Emma and Strange. So because those are CC ultimates and it forces them to back up. But as Hulk, you don't really have that. So you have like your Exile and your Hulk ultimate because they will have to care for it. And perfect timing too. This guy uses his ultimate and I become immune to it. So I put pressure on them, getting the kill on Gambit. So as you can see, you're like this big wall in front of them because they have to look at you in ultimate, otherwise they'll get punished by it. And it's also a perfect timing too that I popped ultimate at the same time this guy did. So that's huge. Always, if you can, try to get the Gambit because that's always huge because it cancels out their ultimate. Get the juggle on that too. I don't really usually do juggles, as you can see. I don't hit it most of the time. I just get knockups. So like, see what we talked about earlier, M1, and then clap. But if she was still alive, I would have dragged her anyways, so she would have still died. And then we finished the fight like that. Body block on the group. Sadly, he doesn't die, but I don't want to die for it, so we back up. Always try to look for those body blocks as tanks. Looking for high ground, just making sure they... As you can see, this guy is just walking past me, so I instantly knew he had ult. I thought I had stun. Did I not? Oh, I didn't. Oh, unlucky. But if I didn't have stun, you could just communicate that he's gonna ult. He's up here. But if I had stun, that would have been perfect because I would let him walk, and then until he drops down, you stun him. Because either one or two things happening. Either one, you cancel his ultimate, or two, he can't wall for his ultimate. So it's still good. We still had the cleanse, which is fine. I knew we had pressure now. We're stabilized, so I try to help my group, but it's too late. They had runes. We just back up, try to not stagger. We're down one. Stopping their pressure by exiling, bubbling my team to have extra protection. Just taking amounts of damage so my healers can charge their ults. I bubble, going again. As you can see, I bubbled instantly and then jump because I don't want to get like stunned. I know this guy is not going to get exiled because he has his wall up, so I try to break it. Stun the wrong guy, but it's still fine. The group couldn't wall, so he can get extra damage. Position behind them, so they have to look either behind me or look in front of my team that's walking them down. Get the instant kills on them, stun them. So this is good too because this is gonna stall them even longer to get back. So that's a good stagger. Also, on these kind of maps, you can air stun someone. That's why I'm standing in this position, because if you can time it right, you can air stun someone off this ledge if they jump out, and you can just call out to your team to look at them. Instantly, I knew that I was gonna die if I don't. I was gonna take a lot of damage if I don't bubble, so I instantly bubble here. That's, as you can see, it easily died. So I'm just looking for the air stun. Their tanks are right here, so I can't really go for it that much. I know Strange is gonna do it maybe. Try to go for it again, but my Daredevil died for it. I try to exile because if I hit that exile, I would have ulted, but I could ult here. I think I'm gonna ult here in a sec. Nope, we Gambit ulted to respond to their Groot ult. Comboed my ult. Comboed him. I just back up because I knew I wasn't gonna kill all four of them that were still alive. So still a good ultimate trade. They use Gambit, so we have Daredevil for next fight if we get the TP off, and Mantis soon. So it's still a good exchange. They don't really have anything if we TP here, and I tried to touch here, but I knew I was gonna die. I didn't have enough time to get out. Strange still TP'd. I got the Loki here. I don't know what he was doing. I got the stun on Groot maybe, and then I instantly, by the way, this is another thing, when you have somebody positioned on an off angle and you know they're on the side of their healers to heal them, you could easily just go behind them after you stun them, and then you can just body block, because as you see from the Mantis POV, when she comes over, she has to break my bubble first. So she already knew that she can't press her little heal button to heal. because she doesn't have line of sight of it yet. I try to body block for Mantis because she was way deep. I was really close because the sleep actually I don't even know how the sleep. So if he did it earlier, that hook, that would have gotten me, and that would have been like well played by him. But when I knew this would happen, I instantly bubbled to deny that hook. I saw he got the hook on him, Daredevil, so I try to go on their backline, try to do some pressure. I stun the DPS because that's always good to deny them damage, and from that pressure that they have. Daredevil uses ult, they use Mantis ult, so I just try to walk in with him, use Gambit ult, kill them through their ultimate. Honestly, I don't know if that was needed on Mantis ult. Yeah, kind of trolled for that, but it's fine. As you see, that's the difference of knowing B-hop, because I B-hopped off the wall after this little exchange when we kill everybody. I B-hopped off the wall to catch the stagger, so now he's gonna have a longer time to set up with his team. So usually you wanna, in this case, I'm using my ultimates to deny their Gambit ult or forcing an ultimate from them, because other than that, they would die if they don't use an ultimate from their team. So just pressuring the front line because I don't have sights on their back line. Keep pressuring the tanks, stunning the Groot so he doesn't move up. Just ult for, so see, this is what I mean. Try to take out the targets that are a big threat to our team, and that is in this case the Strange ulting. So he walled himself, and that's where I hit the juggle on him, and he just dies. He cannot do anything. And that's another thing I countered, another ultimate, as I saw after this Strange ult. Try to get back into the fight, and then I got the stun on. Oh yeah, I got the stun on Groot, and then I heard the Bucky was gonna ult, so I was looking to our healers, and then he ulted me, ulted our Mantis, so I instantly animation canceled with melee and clap with the grab. So essentially he should die from this, which he did because his whole team is dead. So that's always good. Usually you want to use your Hulk ultimate to peel. If you can get a kill on their backline, you can. If you're that kind of guy to press Q and then it kills someone. But for me, I want to have consistency and try to get my value worth my value by peeling for my backline, who's doing the most threat to my team. So bubble my, you just see most of my gameplay is just playing with my tank and just hitting my, actually I didn't even know this was a thing, but I guess Gambit can cleanse when he pops ult, cleanse the person I can exile. So honestly, in that case, I would have just saved my my exile for after they popped it, because then he can't cleanse my exile. So I try to put pressure on them to try to split their team. I got booped. My team is getting rolled here, so I just try to back up. Oh, we pop Gambit ult, so I just go on the aggression, try to break the ones. I stun the Loki clone because why not? Force Mantis ult. So I looked to my Gambit, try to help him, but he just kept backing up. I couldn't do nothing. So we're coming up on the last fight. I have my ultimate here. We have Daredevil ult, we have Mantis ult, and Gambit. Actually, we TP'd anyway, so they ulted our team. And I remember this clearly as they use every single ultimate in that fight. So the only way, I was thinking into my head, this would be a good play if I TP'd for my team, but it's kind of weird because I'm about to have my ult. So don't do what I did here. Honestly, it would have been more easier just to TP and just help my team from there. But I think this is what made this game, what made us win this game. So I basically didn't TP. I was 85 off of my ult, so I just tried to get to the point as much as I can. They're thinking they won the game, so I just stall as long as I can, trying to get my ultimate. I got the Loki lamps. Thank you, Loki, for that. That actually saved me there. I think without that, the Loki lamp, I would have died there, because in this terms I got my ult in it. So now this gets me enough time for my teammates to, with this kind of thing, you would want to stay on point as much as you can, because even though I can get the kill on Mantis here, the pressure is still enough to back them up, and otherwise enough I have to stay on point because I'm the only one on it. But in terms of this, they have no ultimates because they used it in last fight, so I stalled the point enough for my teammates to get back with their ultimates, and we just basically killed them here last second.
Your powers are mine.
We are undefeatable.
They use Mantis copy. We try to stay alive. Try to, in this time, if you know that your team doesn't have anything to respond to this, you're in backline help mode, because you know you're not going to kill anything through their support ult, so you're just basically just stalling as long as possible.
By the eye.
I slammed. That was a perfect slam by him, by me, because this is initial bubble to help my teammates stay alive on point, because I know our Gambit is like trying to fight for his life here and we can't get off point for him. So it's also about knowing what's happening in the fight, because I know this guy is half. Also, another key thing against Strange as Hulk, if you know they're low enough, they're almost always gonna fly up in the air and try to get their have an easier time for their healers to heal them. But in this case, he didn't heal. He didn't want heals. He just ulted. But in this case, I canceled his ult, which is huge. Killed the rest of their team, and that's how we won the game. So yeah, from all of that gameplay, you've seen Hulk going up against that meta comp. So even though it's like really hard to do and there's other characters that are better, this shows how you can play against this kind of comp in terms of Daredevil and Gambit, Mantis, and Loki. So yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for my full Hulk master guide. I hope this helps you sharpen your tech, optimize your decision making, and help you dominate your matches more in ranked. If you want more breakdowns and matchup guides, let me know. Good luck in your games, and remember, Hulk doesn't dive, Hulk decides. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
You know